amazing working with Frank, and we've been going back and forth in terms of how we're designing this car. But the first step in making the car is we are doing some CFD testing. So it's a computational fluid dynamics. Okay. So this is essentially taking the 3D model that Frank and his team got me and putting it into like a virtual wind tunnel to see where some potential problem areas are, to make sure that it's not getting too much downforce, because that's going to lead to drag, especially at the top end, because after 200-ish miles an hour, the air becomes like a legitimate problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why a lot of cars, when they go into top speed mode, they lower, they get rid of their spoiler, basically. The spoiler retracts.
Yes, so they have the lowest sort of aero profile they can have. That's why the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, which doesn't have a retractable spoiler, or like any of these other cars that go really, really fast, like the Chiron, it just, it kind of hunkers down. But funny enough, the car itself doesn't lower. The car has to stay like a decent ride height. So
it's going to keep getting compressed, right?
Yes. So what happens after speed is, like, what you notice is if you have your suspension all the way compressed, you start porpoising. That at speed gets real gnarly. So we have to deal with that. And then, I'm contacting a few different companies, and they're all around the world. One company's in UK, another one's in like New Zealand, and they want to make this body. And it's all custom carbon fiber, and we have to also reinforce the parts of the body where it's going to incur a lot of load from aero. Like you can't just all right, we're going to put some fiberglass. That's good. Like we have to actually know where the forces are going to be.
After one top speed run, the whole body's just warped.
So you guys run stress calculations and all this stuff?
Yes. So we're doing stress calculations. We're doing like where the dirty air is going to go from the radiators. We're we're doing like the ground effect, like underbody. So it's also very hard to do if you don't have millions of dollars.
You're effectively four people.
Yes.
Redesigning a whole car.
Engineering. Yes. I mean, you're starting from re-engineering. I mean, that's and I kind of have an engineering background. Believe it or not, I've managed engineering departments, and I'm not an engineer. Currently run the engineering for Superior Sheds right now. So I understand code calculations, all that stuff and how it works. And it's not cheap, buddy.
No, it's not. But
it's not cheap.
What's interesting is that because I have the platform, and because when Frank and I did this video, and it got a lot of press, and Top Gear and Car Driver, and like everybody was
everywhere.
Like, it was like, right, there's a new P1, and then like look at this.
I had people in my DMs who had no idea it was you at first. So like, McLaren's going to re-release the P1, and they're going to make 40 of these. I literally have that like a message.
They make 40 of them.
I was like, no.
Let's start with one.
This is one of one that my friend is actually making. This is not a production car at all.
If someone with a P1 came to you and was like, hey, can we build mine like this? Is that possible? Or is
so I am leaving that. So the people that we are essentially hiring to do the manufacturing of the body, we have to do something like, if somebody wants one of these, we can commission that, but like it's going to be through you, So that's the only kind of bargaining chip I have, because essentially I'm doing the marketing for this car that we're creating. So if somebody else wants it, then they have to go through Frank. They have to go, like, unless you want to do like some knockoff, from Alibaba or whatever. And but then, exactly. But then it's not going to be, imagine having like a P1, but then it goes back to Frank Stephenson, and then has this prototype body put on, and then has the engine done and everything, and then it can do these crazy speeds, and it's now the fastest one. I think there's what working with Frank did was it legitimized this build in such a profound way that I could never have done. Like, even if I set out to do everything,
I agree.
The fact that he is now involved with this project,
signing off on it,
it's not like now it's now I can do Quail. Now I can do like Goodwood.
God, this does open a lot of
Now it's like it's no longer like me gluing a car together on my own,
and it kind of shuts up a lot of the people who complained about the hybrid drivetrain.
Yes.
Which to me, I personally don't care.
Yeah. So I mean that, and again, there's always options, right? Like because I did the calculations, if I did, let's say, if I wanted to add the hybrid drivetrain back in. So the engine right now, it's a internal combustion engine, and it's supposed to make around 1,400 horsepower on the engine. And if I were to add a hybrid drivetrain back in and I use the e-motor from the McLaren Speedtail, which puts out 300 horsepower, so it'd be 1,700 horsepower package.
Yeah.
The power to weight ratio, even with the battery and all of that, would be better than it is with just internal combustion. But it now you have the complexity of the hybrid drivetrain, and then I have no idea what that nobody knows what the transmission is going to do at 1,700 horsepower because it's never been done.
Right.
I don't know what the computer's going to do. I don't know if anything's going to work. So it's like there's always options. I actually have been in touch with the company. It's a company in the UK called Helix. They make the they make the e-motors for McLaren. So it's called, I'm getting really geeky here, it's called an SPM 150 178 or something like that. And there's different versions of it. One was for the P1, which is like 170 horsepower, and the other one was like 300. And they do that with a 2-to-1, roughly 2-to-1 gear reduction. So if I employ that with a hybrid battery, then I don't think it could be like the fastest McLaren in the world. I think it could be like the fastest car. But depending on, like, there are cars with more power and everything, but I think the amount of time we're spending on like designing aero and everything, I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
power's not everything, as you know.
Yeah, power's not everything. So
yeah.
is the plan to still have exposed carbon fiber?
Yes.
Red-ish tint. What was it? What do we call it?
Yes.
Amber.
Yeah. So Amber Dawn. Amber Dawn is my. It's the name of my fiance. So it's a. Every time I talk about the name of the color, it's just brownie points for me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's hello. Hi, sweetie. No, I always I am a big fan of either red cars with like tan interiors, like brown interiors, or blue cars with brown interiors. I think it's really classy. I think it's kind of timeless. I didn't want this car to be like super race car-y because there's already P1 GTR. There's already like Lenzante examples of these cars, and they're all stripped out. And they all black Alcantara, and it all is like black on black on black, and like everything looks like a Batmobile. And like I don't want that. I want a car that you ever seen. If you go to one of your shows and somebody shows up with like a Koenigsegg or something where it's like that car looks like it's $10 million.
Yes.
Like that car, like the paint works on point. There's like gold leaf. There's accents. Everything looks like it was meant to be there, and it took a lot of time for them to hone everything. So that's sort of what I want. So
It's kind of funny because that's what Mark McCann did with his P1, and a lot of people said you took away from the car's look, so you just made it black on black.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, it is Mark McCann, and Mark McCann is like this guy who he's unapologetic. He loves doing the stuff that he does. He doesn't care what other people think,
and he's super nice.
He's one of the nicest guys, nicest guy ever. Yeah. So he does have to pee a lot on long trips.
I literally saw him do it twice at Goodwood in like the span of an hour.
Yeah, I've seen him do it in a bottle, like in Germany. So like it's fine. Mark's fantastic.
Is that a HIPAA violation for you to be putting that out there?
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not bound by the Hippocratic Oath. I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Yeah. No, but I think, listen, people can do what they want with their cars. I don't care. Yeah. But with this car, I think it's we're trying to have a world beater, and I don't think anything like this has ever been done. And if we pull it off, I don't think it will ever be done again. Okay. I know that there are plenty of Restomods, right? You have the ones that just came out from Gordon Murray, the Singer, S1 LM and Singer, and now there's a ton of other companies that are doing this Restomod stuff, and they go, we're gonna take a $200,000 car and we're going to turn it into a $2 million car. Because now it's like retro future and we added 40 horsepower. Isn't that nice? But none of them are like, all right, well, here you go, Top Gear, or here you go, some publications like let's review this as if it's a new car. So very little of those, like Singer does that, but like very little of those will do that as if it's an actual car that people can go and drive and